Joining me now is Ghaith al-Omari, Advocacy Director for the American Task Force on Palestine. He's also a former advisor to Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. Thank you for being with us tonight. Let's begin with the ceasefire. What needs to be done to get one in place?
I think a ceasefire is not going to happen anytime soon. We are in a situation where neither Israel nor Hamas is facing any domestic political pressure to reach a ceasefire, and the international pressure is not there yet, particularly from the most important players vis-à-vis the two sides. The US is not pressuring Israel, and some of the Arab countries like Syria and like Qatar, who have relations with Hamas, are not pressuring Hamas. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a ceasefire anytime soon, and the civilians will continue to suffer in the meantime.
And so in the meantime, what is being gained politically or otherwise?
I think both Hamas and Israel are trying to have their own political gains. Hamas is definitely utilizing the suffering to gain popularity, to gain support, and to mobilize the Arab street. On the other hand, Israel has military objectives that it's trying to achieve. And as of yet, it's hard to tell who has achieved their objective. The operation is still ongoing, and anything can happen. Humanitarian outrages like what happened today will definitely change and tilt the power and the dynamic in such an operation.
Do the majority of Palestinians inside Gaza support Hamas?
During a time of attack, during a time of conflict, it's hard for the civilians or for the Palestinian public to separate themselves from Gaza, from Hamas. They are the ones who are being shelled. They are suffering with Hamas. So in the moment, there is identification with Hamas. In the long term, it depends how the offensive ends. If it ends with political gains for Hamas, then definitely Hamas will gain more support and will gain not only in Gaza, but wider in Palestine and in the region. If, on the other hand, Hamas is shown to have lost the war, Hamas is shown to have caused suffering for the Palestinians for no objective but its own aggrandizement, then Hamas's power will wane. Ultimately, though, whether Hamas will rise or fall will depend on what happens in the larger peace process.
I want to pick up on something that you said, because I think many people watching this crisis unfold around the world would think that people already are suffering.
People are suffering, and the suffering will continue. But it can definitely deepen further. Unfortunately, I believe as the crisis continues, we'll have more suffering and we'll have more pressure internationally and even domestically to end this conflict.
And do you think that that will not occur until there is a new U.S. president in place?
I think a new U.S. administration will add the pressure on Israel to end this. At the end of the day, I don't think Israel wants to welcome President Obama with a crisis on hand. I think they will try to end it. Hamas, on the other hand, has less of an incentive to do that. Iran, which is behind what Hamas is doing to a large extent, will also have less of an incentive to do that. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out.
How concerned are you about the growing humanitarian crisis?
Extremely concerned. It's, besides the human side of it, and I cannot overemphasize how important that is, the political implications, the way that Hamas uses this suffering to gain support among Arab public and elsewise is disturbing. And it's disturbing in that it does create a sense that there is no peaceful solution to this conflict. It extends the conflict, and it puts our attempts to reach a peace deal to end the conflict many steps backwards.
Ghaith al-Omari, thank you so much for talking to us tonight. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Good night.